What's going on, everyone? Appreciate y'all coming here and checking out this Fallout 76 video. In this one, I'm going to be getting more into detail about that developer tool that was recently found by a Fallout 76 streamer over at Sutton. In case you missed out on this, I recently made a top 10 over the most interesting out-of-bounds secrets that were discovered, and one of them that was in the top 10 was this mysterious cube that was recently discovered. And honestly, it's probably the most interesting thing to happen on Fallout 76 for quite some time, besides these new mysterious items that have recently came into the atomic shop as well. That's something pretty exciting too. But yeah, I decided I was going to get more into detail about this cube because I briefly went over it within the top 10 because I had a lot to cover within that video. By the way, if you missed that, feel free to check the description down below. I'll have a link to that video in the description. But like I mentioned, I didn't really get too much into detail about this cube that was found. And believe it or not, this cube is actually a developer's tool. Well, that's what people were getting at within the comments section to me. And I believe it. It definitely seems like a tool that the developers would use, especially how it's out of bounds. Like, it's supposed to be out of our reach. In case you don't know, I'll go ahead and show you all real quick. Oh my goodness, this is a pain in the nipples. Oh my gosh, of course. Starting off strong, rifle, starting off strong. Alright, this is a true nipple twister, I'm not gonna lie, to get on this ledge to even see it. Which, by the way, it is on top of the church over at Sutton, if you haven't got the point across yet from me attempting here. But yeah, as you can see, when you finally get up on this ledge, if you look through this little crevice here, you can notice this red glowy cube. So for those of you that want to see it without glitching to it, this is a way. And this was actually how it was first discovered. I don't know why someone was just randomly jumping on this ledge, but hey, that's how it was discovered, so thankfully someone did jump on this. Recently though, one of the founders did glitch inside the top of the church so they could get a closer look at this. And the founders that did find this cube wanted to keep the glitch to get over to this classified because they didn't want tons of players abusing this, which I can totally understand, because if I did mention how to do this glitch within this video to thousands of people, it could be risking a lot of players to start abusing this glitch. And not to mention, me showing how to do the glitch could lead to me getting banned. So on that note, I'm sorry guys, I just don't want to get banned because I have spent far too long on this game to just simply be banned right before freaking Fallout 76 Wastelanders. Oh gosh, that would suck. But I really wanted to make a dedicated video over this and get into more details about it. Anyways, okay, so I am inside with the cube, and real quick, I have to give credit where credit is due. Also, I am not the founder of this. I gotta give a huge shout out to the dedicated Fallout 76 streamer that goes by AustralVoid. I'll have a link in the description to their Twitch channel. While they were streaming, one of their viewers actually told them about this, and that's how it all chain reacted around the community. Once they learned, they promoted it on their Twitter, and then that's how I figured out about this and asked if I could promote it onto my YouTube channel, and they didn't mind whatsoever. They thought it was really interesting too. So once again, big props to them for sharing this with the community. They just recently discovered this like a few days ago and decided to share it with us all. Like I was mentioning before, probably one of the most interesting things that have popped up in Fallout 76 lately. And I believe this has been in the game for quite some time, so I'm not saying it was just added into Fallout 76, but it's something that's fairly new to the community. Players had no idea that this existed until, well, recently, after I made a video over it. As you can see, it's called a GPU benchmark activator. And when you go to activate this, you'll have text that'll pop up here saying, send the frame rate through the roof. And you have options to enable everything, enable actors, or enable players. Honestly, this reminds me of the multiple choice that we'll get in Fallout 76 Wastelanders. It's kind of interesting, but I'll go ahead right now and enable everything and see if like the scorch that's over there on that other rooftop does anything special. Nothing. I'm not exactly sure what I just enabled there. Really weird. Now, as you can see, when I go back to activate the cube again, this is what pops up. Disable everything, disable actors, disable players, or frenzy actors. I'll go ahead and choose this option. Let's go ahead and see if this makes the scorch like go crazy or something. No. Doesn't seem to do anything. It's really weird. I'll get into more details about this though after I show you all of the options, just to give you guys further proof. Like I mentioned before, I did touch briefly in my previous video, but I didn't get really too much into detail about this. So now I'm going to go ahead and disable everything. Once again, nothing. This time I'm going to choose enable actors instead of enable everything. Once again, nothing. Just giving further proof, like I mentioned before. I am going to be getting into a lot of your guys' speculations, though, over this after I show a bit more proof about this developer tool. So I'm going to try enabling players. Yeah, once again, it's not doing anything. So this time I'll choose disable players, and I'll go with disable everything. Why not? So yeah, once again, nothing, sadly. So now I'm going to go ahead and get into all of your guys' speculations. You guys definitely had some interesting ones after I made that top 10. I was even getting messages from you guys over on Twitter, which I highly appreciate how much y'all are getting involved with this, because this is something that also really interested me too. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into these. So first off, let's go ahead and start with this. This person says that the glowy red cube seems to be a developer tool, probably used in a developer mode in the game. A dev tester could activate the various settings in order to stress test the frame rate, hence the text that pops up that says send the frame rate through the roof, which was also likely a funny way for the devs to know what that particular box tool did. This person also stated that you can find similar things in other games, like discarded buttons that activate certain animations or sequences. They aren't uncommon in games at all. I do find it funny that the red cube was in such an easy to reach place though. It'd be awesome if that cube isn't the only one in game. There might be others in other towns. It seems like they might be made for areas with high load. What do you all think? Do you think what this person is saying is correct? I mean, honestly, I think this person is on to something. I'm not exactly sure on the other games that this person is talking about though, because this is the first time I've really discovered something like this. I haven't ever seen a cube like this that's titled GPU Benchmark Activator. Now, in Borderlands 3 I did find a developers button. I guess that's something kind of like this. If you know of any other games that have something similar to this, feel free to jot it down below in the comments. I would love to know. This kind of stuff really interests me. That's one of the reasons why I'm making a whole dedicated video about this. I wanted to get more into details about this and hear some more knowledge that you guys may have over this mysterious cube in the game. But now let me go ahead and get into a few more other interesting speculations that you guys had over this. So this next person stated this. Okay, I think I can explain what the cube is. It might be a debug menu for the developers to use for Wastelanders, and they may be testing it outside the debug areas, or whatever they're called technically. And a person that goes by Todd Howard responded saying, if it was for Wastelanders, they wouldn't have it in the current game's build. They'd have it in the Wastelanders one. I don't know, that's kind of hard to say. We don't technically know how long this cube has been in the game. If we did, then we could have a more direct answer. If it's just been recently added, then yeah, this could be technically helping us prepare more for Wastelanders and the glitches that we may be experiencing in the future. But then again, if this has been in the game since the beginning, it's hard to say what this was really used for. Okay, so these next couple speculations are pretty much stating how this could help prove the theory that's been going around about Fallout 76 being a simulation. As you can see, this person stated that GPU thing gives some more merit to the theory that 76 is a simulation. That is really trippy to think about. And in case you don't know, yes, that is a theory that's been passed around the community for quite some time. I don't feel like getting too much into detail about all of that, but basically it's kind of like the cubes that were in the simulation within Fallout 4's Far Harbor DLC. We got to go into a virtual reality. So we were playing a virtual reality game as well as going into another virtual reality. Oh man, that's kind of strange to describe now that I mention it out loud. But basically the theory is that we're stuck in a simulation within Fallout 76. I don't know, if some of you feel like explaining it a bit better in the comments, feel free. That's kind of the concept over what he's getting at though. But anyways, this next person also kind of got into the theory of Fallout 76 being a simulation. This person said that it is the virtual reality cube from Fallout 4. It's from the quest with, I believe he was meaning Dima, when you go into his memories. Yeah, oh yeah, he did say, I think I said his name wrong. Yeah, it's Dima. And we actually go into a virtual reality within the Far Harbor DLC in Fallout 4. So, yeah, it does kind of look similar, but I don't know exactly if that's the case. But I mean, who exactly knows? Right now, this is still a mystery until the developers come out and possibly explain what this is. But yeah, there are plenty of speculations that are thinking that this is the VR cube from Fallout 4's Far Harbor DLC. Someone actually responded to this comment here saying, so 76 ain't real? And yeah, that's actually a theory, believe it or not. It's a simulation inside a simulation. That's definitely a paradox. And even if Fallout 76 isn't a simulation, it'd be really cool if Bethesda could add a virtual reality that we go into, like Far Harbor's DLC. That was a really fun experience. Like, we're already in a virtual reality, but going into a virtual reality while being in a virtual reality, man, that's trippy to think about, but really creative of Bethesda to implement that into the game. Anyways, this next person here said the red glowing GPU box in the church's roof could have been how developers spawned in actors, NPCs, enemies, etc., and observe how they responded to the map and objects in the area to spike the frame rate and see how much it could handle at a time. This is kind of similar to the first speculation that I went over. And I have a feeling this is correct. I think this is a tool that the developers were using to test frame rate, because after all, that text kind of gives it away, send the frame rate through the roof. So basically this tool was kind of demonstrating the worst possible scenarios and see if the game would still run correctly. I'm not exactly sure if this is a new tool the developers just started using to help prep for Wastelanders, or if this has been in the game for quite some time, like I mentioned before. It'd be really cool to know if this is a new tool the developers just started using. But yeah, that's just some of the speculations that I got. There were plenty of them. I just decided I'd make a whole dedicated video over this because this is something really interesting in the game that was just recently discovered. But yeah, I guess that's wrapping up this video. Hopefully you all found this enjoyable. I would love to know your guys' thoughts about all of this. And if some of you may want to explain that simulation theory a little bit better, feel free to jot it down below in the comments. I'm sure a lot of players are interested more about that now. I'm out of here though, everybody. Thanks for taking the time, watching and listening. Until next time, peace.